Are you a business owner or employee who needs to network but is terrified of walking into a room full of people you don't know? Are you afraid of being left out of conversations or being awkward in the conversations you do have? Your tour guide, Faithann, is here to walk alongside you through the networking terrain, offering tips and tricks to network with ease. She'll also bring insightful interviews with successful business owners who have used networking to expand their businesses. Building relationships is the heart of networking, and generosity is the cruise ship that will navigate you toward those important relationships for your business or career. Grab your sunscreen and suitcase. Faithann is ready. Are you?
Hello there, and welcome to the Networkers Tour Guide podcast. I'm your host, Faithann, and I'm glad you found the show. Networking is providing opportunities for others that they would not have except for you, so that you have standing to ask for opportunities from those same people when you need them. How do we create opportunities for others, and how do we ask for those same opportunities? Well, that's what this podcast is all about. It's what I'm here for. Let's dive into episode 10. Episode 10 is from Tour 46 of the Networkers Tour Guide blog, which you can find at thenetworkerstourguide.net. Tour 46 is Give Directions Like a Superhero. I love this quote from James Baldwin. Confusion is a luxury which only the very, very young can possibly afford, and you are not that young anymore. One courtesy I deeply appreciate is when the person inviting me to an event provides detailed directions or instructions for getting there. I know everyone has turn-by-turn directions these days. I use map apps on my phone to get to my destination, but here is what the map doesn't tell me when I'm driving. What's near the building I'm looking for? The specific building the meeting is taking place in, if the facility has more than one building on its campus. The Maps app isn't going to tell me which parking lot to park in. The Maps app isn't going to tell me which entrance to use if the building has more than one entrance. It's not going to tell me what door to go in. Think of all that can go wrong while attending an event or a meeting at a multi-building complex with doors and entrances all over the place and no instructions beyond an address. I want to tell you guys a quick story. This happened a couple of years ago to me. I was invited to a networking meeting. It did have more of an education component, so it wasn't strictly networking, but it kind of was. And the person, I didn't know her that well, and it was going to take up all of my morning. So it wasn't just an hour. This thing lasted for a couple of hours, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to go. I learned that somebody that I did want to be in front of was going to be there, so that kind of swayed my decision to go. Even then, I was a little hesitant, but I decided, okay, I'm going to go. So all I had was the address. I knew the name of the business that the meeting was going to take place. So I knew the name of the business and I knew the address. So I start up many miles away from me, and I can't find it, and I can't find it, and I can't find it. And GPS takes me all over the place, takes me into a neighborhood, which I knew was wrong. I had to call the person who invited me and say, I cannot find this place. Where is it? And she said, it's behind the 7-Eleven. Well, sure enough, it was behind a 7-Eleven. It was a building that had no sign on the front of it. Can you imagine that? Inviting someone to a networking meeting or any kind of meeting, and the building has no sign. And it's behind a 7-Eleven. It's like, it's not prominently placed. It's behind a 7-Eleven. So I finally go in, and I'm mad that this wasn't told to me. And then I find out that the person that I thought was going to be there wasn't even there. The person who invited me did not do a very good job at all of acclimating me into the room when I first walked in. She did introduce me to two people, and then the meeting started. And then this meeting had a component where each person went around and told what they had done for the week. But there was no handout. There was no way for me to really have any context of what was going on. So I interrupted. I stopped after three people started, giving their activity, I said, would it be okay if as you guys are explaining your activities that you told me your business? And she, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry that, and she realized, oh, that would kind of be helpful for her to know what kind of business each person's in. So that was a really bad experience for me. And the fact that she did not say to me, the building does not have a sign and it's behind a 7-Eleven, and sometimes GPS will not take you there. Here's a picture of the building. Here's a picture of from the street. This is what it looks like. She could have been standing outside. That would, maybe I would have seen her. Probably not, though, because it was behind a 7-Eleven. But when we go into buildings, when we go into meetings and we're flustered, we cannot be open, curious. We cannot be calm and confident because we've spent the last 15 minutes frantic. Remember in episode 9, I talked about the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex. Well, amygdala gets center stage during this entire 15-minute disaster when we're driving around from parking lot to parking lot or from building to building, looking at different entrances. The amygdala is in full force, and the amygdala is telling us things that aren't true. They're walking in late to the meeting, perhaps, and they're telling themselves, oh, everyone's just going to stare at me and everyone's going to think that I'm a dweeb because I can't show up on time. It's a really big deal when you walk in late and when it could have been prevented. So instead of just giving an address, here are some things you can do to make it easy to give directions like a superhero. And whether you're hosting an event or if you're inviting somebody to attend an event with you, you want people calm and confident and curious. So it is in your best interest to give really, really good, detailed directions to an event. Tell your people what the place is near. It's across the street from the McDonald's and right before you get to the Walmart. Tell them what side of the street it's on. Tell them which building that the event is in if you're inviting them to a campus of some sort. Prepare to be at the event early because the people you invited are going to want to arrive early because they're not sure how long it's going to take them. This happens so often especially when we're part of weekly meetings and we regularly invite visitors. If your visitor shows up before you do, there's a chance that that visitor can't walk in with the full confidence that he needs or she needs to be successful. So if you are inviting somebody, in your mind, that meeting starts 15 minutes before you told your person what time it started. Make sure you get there first. That way they walk in, they see a familiar face, and the amygdala shrinks, the prefrontal cortex starts to engage, and they are calm, and they're happy, and they're curious. That's the most important thing. Their minds are open to the possibilities of the people in the room, to the opportunities that are going to be there waiting for them.
Hi, listeners. Are you someone who struggles to ask engaging questions at your business lunches? Faithann has put together her list of 10 questions she uses when she is with a business owner over lunch or coffee. These questions build rapport and, more importantly, make that person you're talking to feel seen and heard. Go grab this free resource today by clicking on the questions link in the show notes.
Speaking of meeting your people, so you're going to be there early, and if possible, meet them outside. So giving really, really good directions is great, and like which entrance, but the best thing you can do is meet them outside, and that way they aren't navigating anything. They see you, and now you can start talking to them and telling them how thankful you are that they came, and start getting them in that great mood that they're going to need. And they're just following you. So they're not navigating, do I turn right here? Do I turn left here? Do I get on this elevator? They don't have to do any of that if you meet them outside and just guide them in. Don't hold back on instructions. You can send pictures. You can just over-explain is better than to be the villain instead of the superhero and just give a Google address and nothing else. And if the building If the building you are asking them to come to doesn't even have a sign, for sure you need to say, "This building does not have a sign, but I will meet you out front." Or it's right across the street from Top Golf, or whatever it's going to be. Make it super, super easy for them to find the building. Make it super easy for them to have a good time and to be calm and confident when they arrive. Go network, my friend, and remember, do you want to be someone's Superman or Superwoman? Give them fabulous directions and meet them outside when you are inviting them to your events or meetings.
You've been listening to the Networkers Tour Guide podcast with Faithann Basore. Share this episode with a friend and be sure to come back next week for more networking tips and tricks from the Networkers Tour Guide.